All right, let's talk about something that can drive any family historian absolutely nuts: Spanish last names. Today, we're going to unravel this puzzle and make sense of what can seem like a totally confusing system.
You know that feeling, right? You're staring at a family tree, maybe a census record, and you're just scratching your head because the names just don't seem to connect. Well, I'm here to tell you, you're not alone. It's a super common hurdle, and we're about to clear it.
So, here's our game plan. We'll start with the basic two-name rule everyone knows. Then we'll get into the fun stuff, all the ways that rule gets broken. We'll touch on status and spelling, dig for clues in old documents, and by the end, get you thinking like a real genealogy pro.
Okay, first things first. Before we can break the rules, we gotta know what they are. Let's lay down the foundation.
It sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? The standard way it's supposed to work is you get two last names. Your first surname comes from your father's side, and the second one comes from your mother's side. That's the textbook definition. But, as you're about to see, real life is way messier. And this is where it gets really interesting. Let's dive into how this all played out in the real world, because this is where the detective work really starts. And here is the big secret. Before the 1700s, this whole system was way more, let's say, flexible. There weren't any strict, set-in-stone rules. This meant families had choices, and understanding that is the key to unlocking all those weird inconsistencies you're finding in the records.
Okay, check out this real-life example from Puerto Rico back in the 1600s. We've got a daughter, Francisca. Her dad is Manuel Caraballo Condozo, and her mom is Joana de Castro Madudero. So think about that rule we just talked about. What do you think her name should be?
Logically, you'd expect her name to be Caraballo de Castro, right? Father's name first. But nope. When you look at the actual records, she's listed as Castro Caraballo. She flipped it. She's using her mother's name first. So, what in the world is going on here?
Well, this wasn't just random. There were strategic reasons for this. Maybe the mother's family name, Castro, was more important or wealthier. Or maybe there was a marriage contract that spelled it out. Sometimes it was just to make sure a powerful family name didn't die out. And get this, it wasn't even consistent in the same family. Francisca's brother used Condoso, which was his father's maternal name. Talk about confusing.
And as if that wasn't enough to juggle, there are even more layers of complexity to peel back. Let's look at a few more little quirks from history that can trip you up.
Here's a quick one. For a while, it was common to see last names joined with the letter E, which is just Spanish for aunt. So seeing paternal y maternal is the exact same thing as paternal maternal. It's just a stylistic thing from the time, so don't let it throw you off.
Oh, this one is huge. Remember, a lot of people couldn't read or write, so the person recording the names, like a priest or a census taker, just wrote down what they heard. So a name like Bayala could easily end up spelled Balala or Valala. It's so important to realize these are all probably the same person, not three different cousins.
And honestly, when you see all these variations, it's easy to think you're going crazy, but you're not. This is just the messy, wonderful reality of digging through old records. It's totally normal.
So how do we navigate this mess? Well, the documents themselves actually leave us little breadcrumbs, little clues. You just have to know what you're looking for.
Okay, this is a big one. If you ever see the phrase hijo natural in a record, that means a child born out of wedlock. This is a massive clue because it tells you that when you're searching for that child's birth record, you should be looking under the mother's last name, not the father's. This tip alone can save you so much time. And here's a perfect story of how that works. In the Dominican Republic, there was a man named Felipe Estrella, an hijo natural. Later on, his father officially recognized him, so in his marriage record it literally says he is now known as Felipe Cartagena Estrella. He added his dad's name, Cartagena. The name change itself tells a piece of his life story.
Now this one's really subtle and fascinating. The word alojado usually means something like distantly related. But in one record, a man named Juan is listed as alojado in his own father's house. Now, why would that be? It hints that maybe there was some family drama, some kind of friction going on. It's a tiny word that tells a big story.
So what does this all boil down to? How do you take all this and actually apply it to your family research? Let's pull it all together.
This quote right here says it all. The rules are a great starting point, but they're not the law.
The single most important tool you have when you're doing this kind of research is just keeping an open, flexible mind.
So from now on, when you see a name that's spelled weird or a kid using their mom's surname, don't just see it as a mistake or a dead end. See it for what it really is, a clue. It's a little piece of a puzzle that tells you something about your ancestors' lives, their choices, and their world. In the end, all these naming quirks aren't just confusing rules. They're a window into the past. They tell us about status, about family drama, about love and legacy. So the real question for you is, what stories are just waiting to be discovered in your family tree?